And she's flying across the country.
Well, here's Amanda Ratcliffe with the ex-Australian horse, Fox Grand Dusky Song, bouncing very nicely through the first of the water combinations. Witch Doctor at the last. Kate Woods. And the New Zealand riders putting up a better performance, 37, and that is in fact the fastest time so far. Only 39 seconds over, puts her 6th at the moment, and there is a huge smile, quite rightly, all over Kate Wood's face.
25-year-old Lawrence Hunt, another first-timer on the 15-year-old Proud Ginger at the Huntsman's Close. This is a big test, this combination, for the first-timers. Yeah, and he's very wisely sort of lost his impulsion and very wisely turned. Now, will that be 20 penalties, Mike?
Well, it depends whether the judge feels the horse was presented at the fence by Lawrence or not, and I think that's very much in question. However, he recovers. Former employee of the European champion Lucy Thompson.
To a veteran of badminton, Eric Smiley and McLeod. And Eric had already had an annoying little stop at an early fence, the little badminton drop, but went through the Hunt kennels in exemplary fashion.
Well, here's Sammy McLeod, a rider the Australians think a lot of. They were 3rd in the Australian badminton equivalent at Adelaide last year, and Sammy actually rode here in 1999. Well, this is Bridgestone, Emily Chandler. They went very well here last year, and they've not done a lot wrong now. Counting down, but she's behind the clock. This little New Zealand thoroughbred. 23 years old, and a former pupil of Judy Bradwell. That's a very big table. Our shot there really doesn't show how big it is, and goes the quick way. Emily still trying to make up on her dressage. Well, now Sammy McLeod, the Australians really impressed in the dressage, and Enchanted was one of them in 10th place, 45.6. Oh, just glances off, doesn't seem to have quite the right line, and Sammy does very little to correct it, one has to say. So it's 20 penalties, and away she goes again.
Now, a very important round for Christina Cook. Captain Christie, and this is his ground, and she's going the quick way. Ooh. Well, it just shows you how much more difficult it is going that quick way. But he's an experienced horse across country, this, and he will love the ground. So she's got a great chance. Coming down to the pit-in bank, no better rider across country, there is no doubt about that. Great success here in the past with General Jock, Midnight Blue, Song and Dance Man. She's been 12th twice on Captain Christie here, in 2002 and last year. Pops over the ditch there. It's a pretty wide ditch.
Well, this is the 22-year-old Frenchman, Benoit Perron, riding his father's Mill Cane. Very good young rider. Twice placed in the Young Rider European Championships and went very well in Pau last year. Now, what is he going to do at the Lake? Oh, and the horse doesn't like it. The horse really turns away and seems to be really disillusioned by turning it away from the crowds. Now, what can he do this time? He's got no alternative. He's going to have to ride it and sit down. Jumps in. Once again, the rider gets shifted in the saddle. And again, this is really a fence that tests the position of the rider well, but the horse very honest, and that'll be good experience for young Benoit.
Tina Cook, Charisma Pond, pops in there, no problem. Galloping on, and we'll watch the clock, because Tina will be very, very aware of the time. She's got a dressage score of 54.6. I think she hoped to get under 50 this year. She's been working so hard at a dressage, with Pippa Funnell helping her, her great mate Pippa. Uncharacteristic blemish to this horse's cross-country record at the Europeans at Punchestown last year, very uncharacteristic. But he's probably allowed one mistake in his career. Let's see how she gets on. Oh, she's lost all the knitting. Well ridden. 3 strides. My goodness, that was a scary moment.
Well, this is Nicola Tweddle, very good rider from the north, riding Skyver. This owned by Lady Milnes Coates. She's been round here on several occasions on Mr. Bumble. Now, Christina, Captain Christie at the lake. You notice how she slips her reins, but she's still able to adjust the horse and use her legs. Picks the horse up very quickly there. Good adjustment from Tina. This is what makes her such a good rider across the country. And that is very well ridden through there. And look at the time. Still 3:50 seconds to go. This is the fastest so far, I think.
She's going for it. Young Thomas and Neil Fox. He got a ducking here last year in the lake, so he'll be hoping for a dry round, and indeed the weather has improved. It stopped raining, thank goodness. It's been raining virtually all of Badminton, and the ground holding up really well. And another one that finds that direct route at the hunt kennels too much.
Skyver with Nicola Tweddle, another one to pop across that third of the huts in the Australian wine garden. But this horse has gone very well indeed, very bold and full of running.
And another combination full of running coming to the second last. Tina Cook, Captain Christie. Combination fences. Oh, she flies in. Now, this is a sharp turn. Oh, would you believe it? And that, I'm afraid, is 65 penalties because it's a combination fence, not separately numbered. Major sweep, Rodney Powell, early in the course, going this well-worn route through the hollow. And very nicely, too, on the 11-year-old major sweep. And here is Tina talking to Hugh Thomas, the director, who's about to tell her that she's going to get 65 penalties, whether she likes it or not.
Well, here's the oldest competitor this year, John Marsden, 56 years old, riding the American Mr. Richard Bangham's Shillelagh Gold. They did well in the dressage, 51.2, and they've certainly started out well.
Oh, and that's just a tired fall. Major sweep, he just ran out of puff there, and that's a very wide table, as Mike said before. Now, Tango Man Polly Stockton, well placed after dressage on 44. This a very important round for her.
Well, this is Sarah Broughton and her first trip to Badminton, Money Train. Oh, and the horse literally ducks out and unships Sarah. Haven't long come over from New Zealand. Well, this is Tankerstown, Sharon Hunt, come from Suffolk. Good first performance so far. Now, how are they going to get back to this third of these little huts? And the answer is not well enough. Just lost control. It is a very tight turn. Several have actually literally gone and made a wider turn to get a correct approach. Sharon tried and paid the penalty. So that's 20 for a refusal. Look at that big crowd, despite all of the rain.
And Polly dives at the first section of the lake. My God, sit tight, girl. You're having a bit of a rough ride here. But recovers. Well, it was a little bit of a chancy one there.
Well, now this is the little horse Internet, little stallion, ridden by Kate Hewlett. Now safely over the pin and bank. Internet 16-2. Combination was second at the Puinui December three-day event, very popular event just outside Auckland. And they're really struggling a little bit at this stage. They get over the big brush fence, but now what about Polly Stockton and the horse that was so impressive in Kentucky last year? Oh, and that is down. Well, 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 they've gone well to that point in time, but Polly, perhaps a little brave, went for one. The horse said no, can't do it, and he really clobbered that second log, and Polly's beating the ground because she knows that her Athens chances are not looking good.
Well, one or two others had a bit of a rocky ride at Badminton in 2004. Karen Dixon got wet. Nick Turner on Barbara Cassani's horse hit the bank at the Sporting Turn. The Yellow Earl, well, decided to rearrange the gate out of Huntsman's Close. Limerick star Anna Hilton, she's making a habit of getting wet at Badminton, but knowing her, she'll be probably back again.
Well, this man is back again, last here in 1982, and he may be 56, but he's put up a tremendous performance. 1 minute 33, 4 seconds over, but 88.8, And John Marsden and Shalala Gold go into 12th place so far.
22 years after he last rode here. Great effort by John Marsden to go into 12th position. The Biz and Heidi Simmons, another 9-year-old on the course. Internet also 9. Oh, my goodness me, he put some air between himself and the fences there. And Heidi delighted with him.
Well, here's an important round now for Britain. Jeanette Breakwell, and over to you. The early part of the course. It is a very good galloping stretch to open to get the horses really settled into this course. And one has to say the going's holding up very well. But Jeanette, and over to you, looking to overcome the disappointment of Punchestown last year.
Internet now coming to the quarry. 25 seconds to get home. Plenty of time penalties, but she's done really well. She took a bit of fly there, but he's such a neat little horse here. I thought she'd go straight on there. She turned him on a sixpence. He pops out over that, and that really does save her a lot of time.
Well, now over to you. Gone so well in the European Championships last year until that last water combination when they tripped up the bank. So they'll be looking to put that right. Went so well here last year. Would finish in their highest placing third. Stands right off the first Badminton kennel. And that's very well ridden, accurate riding. And that's what modern cross-country riding is about from Jeanette. Here is the little stallion coming home, Internet and young Kate Hewlett. And the New Zealanders weren't impressive in the dressage, but this young squad have certainly impressed today. Here's another of them home, 84.4, fifth place for the New Zealand combination of Internet and Kate Hewlett.
Now another New Zealand combination, and one that has been here before and done well. New Farm Alibi and Kate Lambie at the Sunken Road. They were fifth here at their first attempt in 2002. And Jeanette now at that gate where she had a fall on over to you a couple of years ago. No trouble this time. And really this is very important because we've had Pippa Funnell on the floor. We've had Leslie Law in the lake. And William Fox Pitt's horse, oh my goodness, and she was nearly another one on the floor there. Just about survived. That is a very big fence on a very tight turn. Over to you, though, showed all his experience to get out of trouble.
Antoinette McEwen, 202, pops over the pinion bank. Everybody was very impressed by that fence when it first came in, but it's jumping a bit like a pony club fence now. Now the sporting turn, pops over. You need 2 strides here. The fence has actually had several stops with people trying to get 3 strides in, but not 202. And now she comes round to the parallels where she actually retired last year. The horse off colour, but he looks very much in the pink of health this year and going well for Antoinette.
So to the last. Over to you, Jeanette Breakwell. She hasn't stormed round, she's gone round sensibly and carefully, and she's put in a very professional performance. 77.4 into 4th, and that, I think, will book her ticket to Athens. Unless there's a disaster in the show jumping, which I doubt.
Lambie, New Farm Alibi at the lake. Would seem to be going quite steadily, is quite well behind the clock. Kate, who hasn't been back in Europe since the World Games of 2002, and she needs a qualification for New Zealand here. So this is Caroline Ryan Bell. Admiral Bruni knows her way around badminton. Had some great rides on her old campaigner, Hooray Henry, but this first time here for Admiral Bruni, owned by Carolyn Taylor and Gillian Morris-Adams. Pops across the ditch, and there, doesn't get the 2 forward strides she wanted, and another one to stop. 202, young Antoinette McEwen. Very much helped by Lucinda Green, lives actually very close to her. 150 seconds to go. This combination have gone well. They've promised a lot, but have never really quite delivered, and this could be the year that Antoinette does.
Well, you'd have to say that's the best we've seen through there. That was simply exemplary. Now to a man who is really determined. Andrew Hoy, Mr. Prakatan, and this horse won't mind the going. Bred to hunt, now in the eventing world. And he pops through that no problem, and now we see him at the Charisma Pond. Oh, I say, he landed steep there. But Andrew is such a good jockey. I mean, he never moved. Lesser riders would have been out the side door, but not this man. Looks at his watch, checks his time.
New form alibi coming to the last turn, and look at the time. The significant thing here is she going to be over 90 seconds over the optimum time? And the answer is she is. And she may not realise, but that probably will not give her a qualification for the Olympic Games. And that will be a very big disappointment for the New Zealand selectors, because she would be a strong favourite to get in the team.
Andrew Hoy at the lake. Just love watching this man ride. Just never moves. He's a real example to everybody. 3:37, good on the clock. And he just picked the horse up there. And that is really brilliant riding. Absolutely brilliant. Remember, he's a 3 times Olympic gold medalist in the team for Australia and a silver medalist last time in Sydney. As we go to Matthew Wright and his second horse, Mallard's Treat, formerly ridden by Andrew Nicholson. And Andrew said that this is a really class horse, but he's had leg trouble.
Mr. Prakatan at the quarry. Andrew with just under now, 30 seconds to get home. It's pretty quick, but he goes the long way there. Remember, he had that very good dressage, been an equal 4th on 41. Mallard's Treat at the bouts into the first water. This is a horse owned by Ray Carroll. And it went so well in the dressage, very well ridden by Matthew to get 41. Well, now Belgium's leading lady, Karen Donkers, Chawumba Wumba. Belgium, who won a bronze medal in the Europeans. Karen has been their leading rider now for really 12 years, since Barcelona. And she's one who's taken the safe route, lost time in doing it, but won't get any jumping penalties. But several have noticed that the landing side of that third house in the Australian wide garden has actually been causing an odd peck or two. Now here's Andrew Hoy at the finish, Mr. Prakatan, and this is going to go into the lead. Just a minute over, 63, 64, 65 seconds over, 67 is the new target, and has Andrew Hoy given himself a chance of winning his first ever badminton?
Mind you, I wonder, he went the long way at the quarry, and it would have added 10 seconds. Will that prove fatal? Minuto, Bill Levitt, storming into the lake. And everything's going here. 3, oh my goodness. Yes, well, I think after going for a second 3 strides, he was always going to be in trouble.
Mallard's Treat coming to the countryside quarry. Has gone fast and clear. Remember, he's already had one impressive ride around cross-country, and this young man is certainly going to make his mark in the sport. Comes from a very good equestrian family. Indeed, Caroline Pratt used to ride for the stable and would have helped Matthew as a small child.
He's going to have plenty of time penalties. Now, Chris King on his second ride, having gone very well on Misdemeanor early on. Now coming to the sport turn. And now this has caused a few problems. There's been a few of them having trouble here. And another one. And that's unusual, because Brer Rabbit's been round here before. But he just lost his striding.
Now Bill Levitt, he won't want to be so wild here as he was at the lake with Minuto. Former ride of Lisa Maynard. Oh, and surely he's gone. Well, I can't believe it. He's got his leg tucked under the saddle and he's recovered. Brilliant. But it's really not been a good day for Bill. He would have very much hoped to impress the Australian selectors, but neither horse has really produced what he would have hoped for. So back he goes, jumps the third. Brilliant recovery, but he'll still put that down as a minus.
Well, there's a good sight. Pippa Funnell is going to have a second ride on Cornerman. She's been to hospital and back again and is ready to go. As Matthew Wright jumps the last on Mallard's Treat. He won't have been the quickest, but this has been a good round and he's going to be up there, no doubt about it. Good round by Matthew, 78.6. And that's a tremendous effort by the 21-year-old to get 2 horses round clear here at Badminton in the purple early in the afternoon. And now Mallard's Treat.
So Pippa Funnell, Cornerman, 6th here last year, owned by the Cranston Dykebeck Syndicate. Had that very good dressage score of 40.8, equals second, remember. So this competition really on the boil, with 3 of them still in with a chance of getting up to the top of the leaderboard. Sam Griffiths, his second. Chamois, the 4th. Went very well on private Colin, still in the top 10. And he's going to play safe this time. He's very much got selection in mind for the Athens Olympics. The Australians with quite a lot of strength in depth these days, but this young man never ridden them in a championship, but he looks to me to be doing all the right things to catch the eye. Really jumped that gate. So Pippa now, Shogun Hollow, and she takes the same route as she did with Viceroy. 2 very different horses. Cornerman, great long raking stride, where Viceroy does have a much shorter stride, and this horse is cruising. Pippa's got a difficult act to follow after that brilliant Rolex Grand Slam last year. She's very focused on the Olympics. That's why Primoz Pride is perhaps watching this on the box at home. But Cornerman could be a very useful reserve. Now he comes round to this sporting turn, goes very wide. I think people are respecting this because this fence has caused quite a lot of penalties. Pops across the ditch, gets those 2 strides, and that's exactly how it should be done.
Now Sarah Cutteridge on her second ride, the Wexford Lady, and this is an important round for her because she's also very much in the selectors' eyes. Went extremely well at Burghley last year to finish 5th, and will be wanting a top 10 finish here.
Cornerman at the lake, and look at the time, 3:47, that's fast. She's quite quick enough at the moment, bearing in mind she's had this very good dressage score. Pippa just trying to steady the horse, just shorten his stride, just get the accuracy. You have to sit up here, as we've seen several times. Pippa sits back, very good seat. Over the middle, that's good too. Long reins it may be, but she's still got Cornerman exactly where she wants him, and that's very good riding indeed.
Now at the Huntsman's Close, Caroline Pratt on her second ride. Call again Cavalier. She's not gone the wrong way this time, but she's hit the deck. Oh dear, poor Caroline. She's had a wretched day, and that just about sums it up.
Tamarillo and William Fox Pitt, the stage set for an absolute grandstand finish. He, of course, on the same score as Pippa, and this lady to him with a chance. Wexford Lady, owned by Pressy Spark, who's now the stable that Sarah rides for.
Yeah, she was disappointed with the dressage score. She came in after Pippa and felt the atmosphere affected her horse. Pippa now coming to this gate. She had a fall out before, and she's done it again. Would you believe it? Well, well, I mean, does lightning strike twice? Yes, it does. And Pippa hits the ground. She's fine. She'll be philosophical. She'll be extremely disappointed because the horse was going very well. And Mike, here we go again.
Just seems to drop a leg. Pippa doesn't seem to me to make a mistake in the approach, but one wonders whether the crowd behind is not a distraction. But one has to say, Pippa's 2 mistakes there, 2 penalties, 2 falls, are the only 2 mistakes there all day. And in fact, Pippa rides into the corner, and I think she's calling it a day. And let's hope things get better for the former European champion, and indeed, of course, the reigning badminton champion will now drop out of the competition.
Yeah, she's been riding all those years at badminton, never had a fall, and then 2 in one afternoon. That's horses for you. The Wexford Lady at the lake, and look at that time, 3:56, and she's about as quick as anybody at the lake. This girl's about as good as they get now across country. She's much admired by all of her fellow riders for her skill across the country. Pops across there, gets the 4. No fuss, no bother, beautifully ridden. She's flying.
Well, here's another man they all respect, William Fox Pitt, Tamarillo. This is the horse that he would so love to get to Athens on. He thought he could win a world title on it, but it wasn't to be. Could it be an Olympic title? 5 minutes 12 out of the sunken road, as Cool Cutty, as she's called, comes to the quarry. She really has got such super flair, wonderful natural talent. Came originally from the Fitzwilliam Pony Club, and they'll be celebrating. 32 seconds, and this is quick.
So the last on the course, Andrew Nicholson and Lord Killinghurst, and this ground will be against this horse. He's no doubt about it. He's a daisy cutter, he's a top of the ground horse, but with this man on top, anything's possible. Rides so quietly across the country. You don't think he's going very quick, but when you look at the clock, he's right there. Oh, and a dog for a bit of encouragement. Well, that'll be one embarrassed owner. Down to the pinion bank. And he doesn't seem to be going at all, but when we watch the clock later on, he'll be on target, but he's going to have to nurse this horse. But he's never had a better chance of winning Badminton. He's got a lead, and he didn't incur any steeplechase penalties.
Well, here's Foxpit and Tamarillo. 3 riders on the course now who've got rock-solid cross-country positions. And notice how he did that flying change for the approach here. Look at that, lands, stays absolutely upright, can pick the horse up, get the strides he wants. Once again, sits up, balances the horse. That steady cross-country seat is absolutely crucial.
So let's look at the time here. Sarah Cutteridge coming to the last. 33 seconds over. That's pretty good. She's gone very quick. And this mare once again has shown her reliability across the country. She really is a great cross-country mare. She goes into 4th, and Sarah is right on course for going to Athens. Great performance by this hugely talented jockey.
Tamarillo at the Huntsman's Close. Those 3 houses coming up now for William Foxpit in this Australian wide garden. Pops the first, pops the second, sits up again. Oh, and a lovely turn to the 3rd. Another to stumble on landing, but William in a position to pick him up. And this again, a fine exhibition. Could this be the round that gets him his first Badminton win? 1:45 to get home, and he's all right on the clock, with Andrew Nicholson, of course, still behind him.
At the Charisma Pond, pops in, just takes a hand off the rein. It is a big drop into there, and now you see he just presses the button just to get a bit of time back. The ground's not too bad here, and so he'll be kicking on as William Foxpit comes to the second last, and it's all about the clock here. Remember that he's got to try and beat Andrew Hoy, and Andrew Hoy is currently on 67 penalties. But Mike, this is more than just a round at Badminton. This is a crucial one for Athens, isn't it?
It certainly is, because this horse, having had time off, is not being qualified for the Olympics until this point in time. So not only is William Foxpit going to go into the lead, but he's also going to get that crucial qualifications, and it just may be we've seen an Olympic medalist. A wonderful round from William Foxpit, 62.4, and can now Andrew Nicholson get in front?
Yeah, that's the target for the great man across country. And he's not doing badly. That's a pretty good time at Huntsman's Close. And then to this Australian wine garden, and there's a lot of time that can be won and lost here, because it's so tight. You've got to get your lines absolutely right. He is brilliant, isn't he? Wastes no time at all. Oh.
Well, we've said it several times, but the strength of cross-country seat absolutely exhibited by this man, and we've seen so many collapse on landing and pay the penalty, but the ones at the top of the leaderboard all have that crucial strong seat, and no more so than this man.
But he's beginning to labour in the ground, Mike, there's no doubt about it. He's only 40 seconds away. This is going to be close. He's at maximum throttle. There's no more left in the tank, really.
And he's got a long way to go. Can't see him getting home, but you never can tell with Andrew Nicholson. He does manage just to, again, sit up, turn. He's not going to waste an inch, even at this late stage of the course. And Robin and Nicky Salmon, who live very close to Badminton, will be jumping up and down as Lord Killingshurst, the horse they bought as a 2-year-old, is now coming home and doing them proud.
He's just got so little left in the tank. He's having to nurse every last ounce out of this horse, and he's asking him to stretch, and there's not a lot left there. My goodness, this is going to be close. He's at maximum throttle. 59, he's not going to make it, Mike.
No, the score we're looking to beat, 62.4. That's what Tamarillo is on. And he's not quite going to do it, but will he have a fence in hand? Remember, it's 4 for every fence he has down, or either of them have down, and there is not a fence between them.
And at the end of an exhilarating afternoon, we caught up with a breathless leader.
I've not run Tamarillo in mud like that before since his two-star days, so it's a long time ago. But he's a galloping machine, and I don't think I could go. The beginning part of the course, he was tearing along, and I was thinking, hey, whoa, we're not going to get round at this speed, because I watched horses coming back very, very tired. And I mean, the decision to run was a nightmare, because he's got to get qualified for the Olympics, but there's no good getting qualified for the Olympics and injuring yourself galloping in a swamp. So I had long discussions with Lucinda Green and Yogi Breisner, and they were fantastic and very supportive. And I think if they hadn't have changed the chase time, and therefore let the horses go out from the cross country a little bit fresher, I wouldn't have got on him. I couldn't have taken that risk. So he did give me a fantastic ride and made it feel very easy, actually. I don't think he put a foot wrong the whole way.
So at the end of an exhilarating Saturday, it really was brilliant stuff. William Fox Pitt leads on Tamarillo from Andrew Nicholson and Lord Killinghurst, with Andrew Hoy and Mr. Prakatan in third. We were set up for a dramatic final day. And the Sunday morning dawned much brighter and dry, thank goodness. So what has become the Badminton Fashion Parade took place in front of Badminton House. The horses being paraded, and thankfully all of the top horses were in excellent condition. None more so than Tamarillo, who showed his well-being with a bit of a buck and a kick. William Fox Pitt and Tamarillo all set to defend their lead in the show jumping during the afternoon.
They don't want to see that trot again. Tamarillo passes.
Show jumping afternoon, and the ground pretty sticky, so it's going to be a pretty big effort, remembering that on the Saturday they had a pretty hard day across country, and this is a fairly demanding course. And we now review the final 5. In 5th place, James Robinson and Comanche did so well across the country, really went well. Can he put some pressure on the leaders?
Well, there have been very, very few clear rounds so far. The time is reasonably lenient, but it's the 3rd fence that they're circling round to now that's caused the problems. Not too many have jumped this clear, just a little upright. Highlighting the London bid, of course, for 2012. But this man yesterday rode a quite brilliant round across country. The leader at the moment, Private Collins, Sam Griffiths from Australia. He had just 1 fence down and is currently on a score of 81.2. So James has got some fences in hand. Remember, 4 penalties added for every fence down. Irish bred horse by I'm a Star. Been around Badminton several times before, but has in all 3 phases produced his personal best, and that is what wins major competitions. Not a seat in the house, and you can hear a pin drop. 1 down. That combination has been another of the influential fences. 2 fences left now for James Robinson and Comanche. Last one, and he's going to secure 5th place. Oh, and he has that down as well. 78. He still stays ahead of Sam Griffiths, and so he currently is the best score, completed the event, and look at him cursing. But this course is certainly taking its toll, and with the top 4 to come and them all so close now, anything can happen. And there goes the 3rd fence for Bumble Thomas and the Sophologist. Show jumping has become the most influential of the three phases in many respects, because you can so easily drop many places that you've made up on the two previous phases. The heights have actually been increased and are going to be increased further actually next year to make it even more influential. So just a reminder, Bumble Thomas on 73.8 with the cephalogist, and James Robinson finished, having completed the show jumping with 8 penalties, on 78. So she can afford one more, but then nothing else. This is the combination. Oh, and that's gone. 2 left. Now she's got to keep cool. The last fence has been a problem. Rattles it, but it stays. Bumble Thomas completes her best ever badminton in an Olympic year and must put herself in the reckoning. 77.8 and 3 left to go. And all 3 world stars that have never won badminton. Andrew Hoy the first. Andrew, who's been so close with the wonderful grey horse Darien Paz, but was never to be. Now what about Mr. Pracatin, owned by Nona Young? Andrew's wife not competed here, but she's been outside helping him warm up. Oh, and it's that third fence again. So he's now on to 71. The cephalogist on 77.8. So he can afford one more, but not 2 more. The important aspect in what is quite sticky going is to keep the horse in a nice rhythm, but keeping the impulsion going, the forward movement, so the horse doesn't get stuck in the mud. I have to say, it isn't really mud, but it just is seemingly restricting the horse a little. Now, this last sequence of fences, the combination first. Oh, and that's gone. That's gone. 75. He can't afford another. Just the last now for Andrew Hoy. Time's okay. And the last goes. He gets in a shade deep, and that goes too. And 12 penalties for Andrew Hoy, 79. And that drops him below the cephalogist and also James Robinson and Comanche. So Andrew Hoy drops back yet again. Now Andrew Nicholson, and he's won 2 Burghley titles by superb show jumping rounds. This is one of his strong phases. Can it win him a title that has eluded him? Although the horse just looked a little weary towards the end of the course yesterday. Looks at, oof, that's gone again. They look very, very fit this morning in the inspection, the final inspection. But now 69 and currently 77.8. The leading score. That's Bumble Thomas. Wearing a hackamore. Oh, not always easy in the mouth, and in fact the horse really fighting Andrew. That's not going to make his task any easier. Oof, the crowd on the edge of their seats. Of course, every fence he has down is giving William Fox-Pitt, the overnight leader, just that little more breathing space. Turns for home. Oh, tapped it in front but got it behind. So 2 fences left, and he's getting shorter time now. Only 7 seconds left and counting. And of course the last fence still to jump. Tries to put him right, jumps it, but gets some time faults as well. 2, 3 time faults, and that clock hasn't stopped. The clock hasn't stopped. I think there will be less time faults than that. I believe it to be 2. And there it is, 75 is the score. And that is good enough to keep him ahead of Bumble Thomas. And the chances of Andrew Nicholson winning the 40,000 Mitsubishi first prize here depends on this man, William Fox Pitt. And of course, he too has never won this title. But now, with Tamarillo, he has, at the moment, 3 fences in hand, but no more. William Fox Pitt and Tamarillo being warmed up outside by Ken Clausen and Jörgi Breisner, the 2 men who've really made Great Britain a much stronger force. Oh, and that 3rd fence has gone again. But Jörgi and Ken have done a great job in helping Britain through what has been a difficult phase over the years. But there is more tension now on this young man than I've ever seen. He's normally ice cool, but those butterflies are going now. 66.4, needs to keep ahead of 75. And there's 4 more. No, it isn't. It stayed. Well, that jumped up and down in the cups. That's a bit of luck. Oh dear, he really is riding his luck now, and the crowd are absolutely with him every step of the way. Oh, now he backs. Oh dear. But now this tricky line to finish. The last of the combination, jumps that, 2 left. Surely he's home now. The planks, and just the last. And that goes, but it's still enough to win. William Fox Pitt, his first ever badminton title. And despite some magnificent victories, this one will mean more to him than any other competition he's ever competed in, and surely must set him up for the Olympics in Athens.
So at the end of a truly dramatic badminton that really had it all, William Fox Pitt finally wins his first title. Andrew Nicholson did all he could and in the end finished an honourable 2nd, with Bumble Thomas an excellent 3rd on the Physiologist. We leave William Fox Pitt in Wimbledon style, celebrating a tremendous victory. My thanks to Mike Tucker. From me, Jamie Hawksfield, goodbye.